Separation from Source is an illusion. We have been looking for a way to address the idea of separation that you have there on Earth, and we have decided that now is the perfect time to be sharing with you our perspective. Separation from Source was a necessity for people to truly believe in their mortality and the mortality of their loved ones. When you awaken to the truth that separation from Source is and always has been an illusion, then you can recognize that all other concepts, all other notions of separation are also illusions. They are illusions that you play with to give yourselves an opportunity to come together. You come apart, you come back together, and then coming back together is so much sweeter because of the time you have spent apart. Now, the issues that you have there on Earth that involve a sense of duality, polarity, and the idea of us versus them are all a part of that big picture strategy that you all had for moving apart so that you could come back together. When you recognize that everyone and everything is source energy, then you can let go of your judgments, because you will know that no matter what that person is doing or saying, they are just really source, playing a role for you to experience and for all of humanity. Rising above the separation and us versus them mentalities is necessary at this time on your world. It is necessary in times of crisis, and the ideas that people have in their heads about who is to blame get magnified, as they are amplified in their speech, in their writing, and even in their actions. Whenever you are facing a problem there on Earth, it is always an issue for the consciousness of humanity. You are always being given an opportunity to raise the consciousness, and when we address you as the awakened collective, we are implying that it is you who are raising the level of consciousness, and we are inviting you to do even more. Allow yourselves to feel into the vibration of the level of consciousness that is needed on Earth at this time to bring people together, people who are seemingly enemies. You, as awakened ones, must hold the level of consciousness within you to project onto those individuals the truth that you are all one. Separation is an illusion, and that the biggest common denominator that you all have is that you are source energy beings. Those of you who know that and embody it can help to raise the level of consciousness on your world by going beyond pointing fingers, blaming, and politicizing tragedy and trauma. Will you be able to convince anyone with your words or your writing? Perhaps not. However, as you hold the high vibration and you send love and compassion everywhere it is needed right now on planet Earth, then you demonstrate that truth. You put that truth into action, and that goes beyond the mind of the person who could argue with you and dig their heels in to further their agenda, their beliefs about how everyone should think. You are there to move beyond thought and belief. You are there to move into a heart-based experience of reality and to spread compassion and love wherever you can. Now is the perfect time to do just that, because it is needed and you are the ones to answer the call. We are not attached to one path, to one way of expanding your consciousness, evolving and ascending. However, we have noticed some things about humanity and your approaches to returning home, returning to Source. We have noticed that there are many false paths that appear in front of you when you are more physically orientated and physically focused. When you are looking outside of yourselves for the path that will return you to Source, you often find something or someone, some activity or some way of approaching life, and then you believe that it is the way, the one true way. You believe that it is the only way you could ever return home to Source, because in your experience it works. It works until it doesn't, and then when it doesn't, there is usually a great deal of sadness, some suffering, perhaps a dark night of the soul, and then you are there to pick up the pieces and move on. What you have outside of you in the physical is all lovely. It is all to be enjoyed and experienced. You are meant to have interests, things that fascinate you, and people you want to be around. However, your paths to Source are so much more long-lasting when they involve going within, being silent, meditating, feeling your feelings, and focusing on the love that is within you. Love does not have to be something that is initiated by someone or something outside of you. It does not have to be state-dependent or conditional. The feeling of oneness is not something you can only access by taking certain steps in the physical to get to that perfect point on the planet. You can experience it anywhere, and many people have experienced the sensation of oneness in the strangest of places and at the strangest of times. There is, of course, not just one way to access what we are all seeking. However, there are more effective ways. They may seem like they are the long way to return home to Source. In actuality, they are the shorter way. You can avoid a lot of trial and error by sitting and tuning in to what you can feel inside of you as that spark of divinity. We suggest you start every day of your lives from this point forward, seeking to feel that spark before you get out of bed in the morning, and notice how less attached you are to the circumstances of your world being just right for you. And then you can really live, because as you accept the world as it is, so much more of it can open up to you and bring you that which you are no longer attached to. And all because you took the time to feel for the path to Source that is within each and every one of you. We are elevating the level of our consciousness, just as you are. Therefore, you may detect changes in the quality of the energy transmissions you are getting from us. As you pay more attention to how the energy feels coming from someone, something, or some collective of non-physical beings, you become a better creator of reality. You have to know what you are vibrating in order to create with any level of precision, and you need to know how others are vibrating in order to receive help from those it is appropriate to receive help from, and in order to help those who may benefit from something you have to offer. By being precise about what vibration you are emanating, you can see a more direct result of that vibration out there in the world, and you can see it more quickly as well. We are here to serve you, and the best way that we know to be of service is to come from the highest level of consciousness we possibly can. That is what we will continue to do. And those of you who have become more sensitive to energies over the time will be able to pick up on the shifts in what we are offering. As our level of consciousness rises, so does yours. It must in order to receive us and the energy messages that we are giving you. You do keep up with the energies, even when it feels like you are being tossed around by very rapid currents. You have the ability to do this because of the inner work you have done on yourselves, and because as you continue to tune in to the available energies, you cannot help but keep up. You benefit so much from all that we and others like us are offering to you. Because you are open, you are sensitive, and you realize that you are energetic beings first. You then take these higher frequency energies and spread them around in everything that you do. Even when you are just doing your chores, your errands, or working a job that has no identifiable quality of service to it, you can still be of service within it. You can be of service while sitting in traffic, surrounded by other people in their cars. Just keep opening up to receive, and know that everything else will be taken care of, because you chose this journey. You are meant to be on this journey, and the journey takes you with it to higher and higher levels of consciousness. We have been noticing that those of you who seek direct communication with us are doing so from a place of genuine curiosity, and that matters. That makes a difference when you are seeking to connect with any higher density beings. We are curious about you and how you handle the challenges in your lives. If you get curious about those of us who exist in the higher density planes, you will be more likely a match to our energy, and that will make the connection stronger for you. This way of connecting to higher density beings also works because you will feel for our vibration rather than just thinking the thoughts, speaking out loud and hoping that someone somewhere is listening. You really do want to feel for the essence of the beings you seek connections with. Therefore, when you receive these messages, it is always a good idea to feel for the vibration that is embedded within them, rather than just analyzing the words, concepts, and ideas, hoping to give your mind an advantage. We know that those of you who are truly awakened understand the importance of recognizing a vibration. Being able to recognize us by our vibration is truly a gift. It is a skill that you can hone, and that skill will be useful to you when you are channeling higher density beings. It will also be a useful tool for when you are in physical contact with extraterrestrial beings. You will need to feel them out to determine what their agenda really is. You can practice this skill when you listen to a human being on your world giving a speech. You can use your ability to discern what that person's vibration really is, and whether it matches the words they are speaking. Most of all, you want to use discernment in determining whether something is coming from your ego and mind, or whether it is coming from your heart and intuition. When you have that skill, you have everything that you need. For those of you who are among the awakened collective, who are trying to figure out where you fit into society, we see you struggling to find a way to earn a living in a world that is mostly not supportive of you and your beliefs. This is a time when you are meant to bridge the gap between the third and fifth densities, and it is an enormous gap. It is a gap that some of you have been attempting to fill for decades, and it is still there, however the gap is narrowing. It is in fact becoming easier for you to find your way and to hold your beliefs without being ridiculed. It is even more possible now than ever to earn a living as a spiritual practitioner of some sort. Now we keep telling you that the world is changing and changing for the better. We keep telling you that there are mass awakenings occurring all over the planet. We keep telling you how powerful you are as creator beings, and we will continue to tell you these things because they are true from our perspective. You, however, might live in an area with an immediate family that say otherwise. You might look at what is being broadcast on most televisions and think that we are just offering you wishful thinking or pie-in-the-sky ideas. However, there is a harmonious place to be found there in the fourth density, and we know that you can find it. We know that you have a tribe of people around you to talk about your beliefs, and that you do not have to settle for the traditional 9-to-5 job in the corporate world. However, you have to get creative. You have to believe in yourselves and believe in the limitless possibilities that are before you, so that you can start living in that harmonious place, and so you can bridge the gap and be fifth density in a world that is mostly clinging to the third density. Now is the perfect time to put what we are saying to the test and to find your comfort zone as you continue on your quest to the fifth density. We are so very excited about what is to come next for humanity, because we know that the experience of the growth that you have in front of you is going to be pure ecstasy, especially for those of you who take that growth on fully. Those of you who accept the expansion that is available to you will always enjoy the ride more than those who are fighting against change progress, and the movement forward that is inevitable. Therefore, you could say that you have been preparing your whole lives for this, for what is to come. You have been clearing out your traumas, your chakras, your negative beliefs, thoughts, and emotions to get you to this point where you would be able to take on all of the potential growth that is there for you. And when you embrace it, when you know that it is the next step in your evolution, it is so fun, playful, and enjoyable to partake in. Now, as you know, everything is changing there on Earth and changing for the better. Those inevitable changes are the result of all that humankind has lived collectively leading up to this point. The changes have all been asked for, and the asking has been answered in the affirmative. It is now about opening up the floodgates to let it all in. And those of you who are ready for the energies of change will not have the impediments in the way that others around you do. In other words, by clearing out everything that you have released, you have made yourselves these wonderful vessels for high-frequency energies to flow through. However, not everyone has been doing this, and they are going to have a harder time. Anytime you see someone clinging to something, feel compassion for them and send them love. Also ask yourself, is there anything you are still clinging to that you need to let go of in order to be that open, pure, clear vessel? And know that all that you allow to flow through you will eventually get to those who are clinging, who are closed off, and who are afraid of change. They are coming along for the ride whether they know it or not. And the ride will include some dismantling of old systems that only really worked for the few anyway. The new systems are being birthed all the time. They are in the stage of infancy right now, however they are growing. They are growing in power, in numbers, and those of you who are focused on those new systems are bringing more energy to them. You are doing a wonderful job of ushering in the changes that will support the new level of consciousness. These changes reflect the new level of consciousness as well. And when you feel for it, when you feel for more of that oneness and equality, more of that unity, you know that it feels right to you. You know that everyone is a part of this giant puzzle that is Source, and everyone's piece fits in some way. As you set the example of playing your part beautifully and willingly, you make it easier for others to remember who they really are and the part that they have to play in this cosmic dance of ascension. The ascension will of course continue until we all return home to Source and to the feeling of who we really are. Te wana, tawa, te awa.